What?
And then and then when you see like the up close shot of the bacteria and it's growing and it's sort of like wriggling all over the place.
Yeah.
I imagine that's what I was looking at.
In this video, I talk about people who have experimented with LSD and other hardcore drugs, and they share their stories and give me a hard warning about the future.
As you can tell, my Discord name is just a bunch of stars, but I guess you can call me X, Wax, whatever. Those basic.
Alright, man, yeah, I appreciate you being on the podcast, you know? Well, let's get right into it. Just tell me, like, how'd you first get into, like, using drugs and stuff like that?
Not even gonna lie to you, I got in, like, a bad breakup type situation. I was fucked up, depressed, all of that. I was just looking for a way out, and then one of my homies just casually threw a bag of, like, ecstasy and 2CB on my desk. It was like, yo, keep it. It's whatever.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So I was like, alright, that's something. I was, like, new to the whole harder type stuff, right? So I was like, a bit flabbergasted. But the next day I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm looking for some fun, whatever.
Nah.
So I took, just first drug, like passing alcohol and weed and whatever. It was ecstasy, basically.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, because I know most people, they start out with just like weed and stuff like that. Maybe like some mushrooms and stuff. But like for you to say like ecstasy, like the first thing they started out of is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Basically, first was in order. It's basically, well, from that timeline anyway, goes from weed to alcohol to ecstasy, and then passing on.
You said from that timeline? What do you mean?
Well, basically, starting from my first drug of first use of drugs.
Oh, okay. Do you have like a regular that you go to, like a regular type drug that you go to? Yeah, like your favorite, basically.
Currently, would probably have to be ketamine.
Ketamine. What effect does that have on you?
Ketamine, it loosens up the body, numbs you completely if you take a high dose of it. Relaxes you, and actually another name of it, it's basically horse tranquilizer.
Yeah.
So it numbs your whole body, and if you take high doses of it, you can get psychedelic visuals, not on shroom level, but it's up there. And you'll enter a K-hole, which means you won't be able to move a singular muscle in your body. And sometimes that can scare people, but
how does
to
it
me,
affect
honestly,
you?
I like to do it.
Oh, that's nice.
Affected me in what type of way?
Like when you're going through those type of trips, what kind of thoughts do you have? Are you always just chill? Do you have scary thoughts sometimes, or is it just do you relive past moments and shit?
Effect on me, it's more of a you don't really think of anything, to be honest. It's more like okay, where is this gonna go now? All right, this is happening, whatever. And if it turns kind of bad, somewhat bad visuals, or you start thinking dark shit, it kind of depends on mental state, I'd assume. If you're in a bad mental state, you'll go into the bad thoughts and you'll end up having a bad trip. But with me, I never really had that. Well, I have had it happen before, but not on ketamine anyway.
No, I get that. When you had the bad trips, what were you using? Was it something stronger than ketamine, or was it something lighter?
It was 2CB. It was a psychedelic drug.
Oh, wow.
It's basically the baby brother of shrooms. Very low, but it's still you'll still trip from it.
Yeah. So how was that experience when you had the bad trip of it? Did you see scary monsters and shit?
Oh no, none like that. It's more of a thought thing. It's I took the pill. It was a bad timing, to be honest, because previous that day I took ecstasy. I don't know if you know how that works. Basically, your serotonin, or I don't remember how to fucking say that word, to be honest. Dopamine goes all the way up.
Yeah.
And the next day, you'll feel like absolute shit. And obviously, taking a psychedelic drug whilst you're like that, terrible idea. So I full on still again went into those thoughts of my ex breaking up with me.
Yeah.
This, that, all of that happened, and I honestly went full on depressed mode and started self-harming and shit. It was kind of bad.
Oh wow. Yeah. I don't know, me personally, I've never done I'm sorry you had to go through that, man, but has those experiences have those trips taught you anything,
It's taught me that psychedelics drugs is something you've got to respect and not use to you can use it as a coping mechanism, but not full on oh, I'm depressed, I'm gonna take a psychedelic drug. No, you've got to be ready for it. Your mental state's got to be straight.
I get that. Yeah. Me personally, I've never done psychedelic drugs, but I've been thinking about doing them and stuff, But I heard it has a lot of stuff to do with your mental state. It's overall how mentally prepared you are for the situation, you know? So, like, when you were in, like, your, like, down bad points in life, like everybody is, what drug did you use to cope? Was it just, like, ecstasy, or did you use, like, other drugs and stuff like that?
Well, I started with ecstasy, then passing ecstasy I took to CB, which I had a bad trip, so I left the other pills to the side, which I used, like, a month later or so. But then, back then, it was purely ecstasy. I took a shit ton of that. And, yeah. Then, I'm pretty sure a couple of weeks later, that same friend went up to me like, yo, ketamine is, like, fucking amazing. You can't compare it to anything. I was curious, and I was like, yeah, I mean, shit, if you can get me some, shit, fucking go for it.
Yeah, so how's, like, the buying process? Where do you get, like... I'm not trying to be, like, all federal and stuff, but, like, how's, like, the buying process, you know? Like...
I usually just go to that friend and be like, hey, you got a plug or whatever, and he'll hook me up. And then I go from there. I just text him, go to the location. Now, currently, I actually got, like, a new plug, which straight up, you text him, you tell him the amount you want, and that same day, he'll come. Like, not him, but, like, a middleman. He'll come to your fucking house, like... and just give you whatever the fuck you want.
That must be amazing. Fucking same day delivery, you know?
It's amazing, but it's scary because, you know, giving your address out to some random ass stranger, it's kind of, you know, get you paranoid.
Yeah, so, like, do you have any advice to, like, avoid a bad trip, though?
In my opinion, do enough research about whatever you're about to take. And definitely with psychedelics, you got to be able to tell yourself, am I ready for it? And if you just straight up say yes, go for it. But if you have that slightest, like, hint in your head saying no, don't do it.
No, I get that. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So, overall, just, like, I heard about, like, a thing where, like, you take, like, something, or you do, like, psychedelics, but you never, ever come down from the trip, you know? And that's something that, like, really scares me. Does that, like, happen to a lot of people, or is that, like, more rare?
It's definitely on the rare side. Like, I'm pretty sure that's, like, a bad trip, and that's literally something triggering something in the brain, and it's, like, pretty sure they just go insane on that spot, because sometimes it can cause, like, psychotic attacks and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Okay. Yeah. Nah, man. I really appreciate it. You know, I really appreciate it. With me personally, like, I want to at least, like, try everything at least once. You know, whenever I say this, people, they always give me, like, a weird stare. Like, I don't want to do, like... Well, first, is there any drugs you wouldn't recommend me doing?
Fuck. I mean, there's salvia, which is, like, a really fucking...
Salvia?
You'll be tripping real... It's a really heavy thing. I don't know too much about it. All I know is once you take it, you're gone for hours. It can go terrible. It can go amazing. But when you take it, afterwards, your personality might even change. Like, you'll be a whole different person. Same with DMT. I've heard stories about people living, like, a whole different lifetime whilst they were tripping for 5 fucking minutes.
That's
so those
crazy.
Definitely... Yeah, it is fucking crazy. So, like, when it comes to those things, maybe be more wary about it. But shit, if you want to take it, I'm not telling you to live your life.
Nah, man, I get it. That sounded, like, surreal, you know, because I know people who, like, do DMT. Like, one of my friends, they have, like, a DMT, like, cart and shit like that, you know? I think that's fucking crazy. A whole different lifetime.
Oh, know? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's in, like, high doses, though.
High doses? Okay, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Well, man, that's all the questions I have for you. I really appreciate you being on the podcast, you know, man?
Like, I got you.
Yeah, of course, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right, thank you, man.